All right, Every Dollar users, I know there's a chance you've been racking your brain with why doesn't my budget match my bank account? Well, today I'm coming at you with 4 of the main reasons that I see why the budget and bank account don't line up. Hey everyone, Craig here, and I'm a financial coach who is passionate about helping people get out of the paycheck to paycheck cycle so they can finally find some peace of mind when it comes to their money. Now, if you've been using the software Every Dollar or any budgeting software out there, you've probably noticed at one point or another that your bank account and the budget just don't line up, right? So you're looking at it, it says you should have X number of dollars in your budget. You go to your bank account and it says something completely different. If you are a type A person, this can drive you absolutely insane to the point where you just want to give up on the whole budgeting thing. Let me urge you not to do that. Today I'm going to go through 4 reasons why that might be happening and some quick, easy fixes to that problem. Now, before I dig into that, have you grabbed my Financial Freedom Roadmap yet? Guys, this is a free step-by-step guide out of the paycheck to paycheck cycle. It's going to take you through what you should do from start to finish. No matter where you are on the journey, it's going to say, if you're here, here's what you should do next and next and next to reach that place of financial freedom. You can grab it by clicking the link right up here, and I'll email it directly to your inbox. All right, so 4 reasons why your bank account doesn't match your budget. Let's dig in. So number 1 is uninsured expenses, right? This seems like the most obvious one. You're tracking your spending and you just forget to log one. Maybe if it's connected to your bank account, there's a hiccup and it doesn't register, the transaction doesn't come in. If you're manually entering them on your phone, maybe as you're going, you just forgot to type one in, right? This is the main reason. So what can we do with this? Literally, if you want to do an audit, you can open up your bank account, open up your budget side by side, and just look at both and match them. Did I log this transaction? Did I log this one? Did I log this one? This is how to get the most accurate view. Now, if it's off by a few dollars, personally, I wouldn't sweat it. If it's off by hundreds or even $50 or more, then maybe you want to analyze it. Use your best judgment here. What's going to be the best use of time? Or are we better off just resetting next month, starting fresh and seeing, does that problem keep reoccurring? But small numbers, $5, $10 off, to me is just not as big of a deal. Now, again, type A personalities out there, you're saying, you're freaking out with me saying that, right? If it gives you peace of mind, analyze it, balance your checkbook, look at the budget, the bank account, and analyze it. But that is the number 1 reason why they don't line up, is just unlogged expenses. You didn't put them in. Number 2 is using rough numbers. And so this is really if you are manually entering your budget numbers, but you just estimate. So you spent $24.27 at a restaurant, and so you jot in $24, right? You're rounding. And so clearly that's not going to give you an accurate depiction of where your budget sits. This also happens sometimes when we just try and remember what we spent. So you spent something, you get home, and off the top of your head, you're typing in what you think you spent, but the truth is you're wrong. You didn't enter it correctly. So if you really want accurate numbers, there's nothing wrong with rounding to the nearest dollar. At least I wouldn't round to the nearest 5 or 10, but rounding to the nearest dollar is going to be pretty accurate with overall inside your budget, but it's not going to line up with your bank account. So if that's important to you, you need to be as accurate as possible when entering those transactions. And that includes little things like in your bank, you're going to earn a little bit of interest most likely. And so you may notice a 2 or 3 cent interest that you earn in your checking account. That's something you're going to want to enter if you want the most accurate balance as possible. All right, so the 3rd reason is what I call the Plusminus Dilemma. So this is when you're linked with your bank account. So those of you who are using Every Dollar Plus or a software like YNAB or Mint that connects to your bank account, it's the Plusminus Dilemma. You're transferring money maybe from your checking account to your savings account, right? Well, what happens is your bank is sending 2 separate pieces of data saying money was taken out of your checking account and money was put into your savings account. So if you transfer $50 over, it's telling Every Dollar Plus, hey, $50 was taken out, and then later it's saying $50 was added in. So when you look at your transactions, you'll see a minus 50 and a plus 50. Okay, so the best thing to do here is just delete them, right? If you're doing a bank account transfer, I delete both of them. I don't put them in my budget. I don't worry about it. Now, if you are doing something like paying down a credit card, same thing. If the credit card is connected to your budget, you go put a $50 payment, it's going to show $50 was taken out of your bank account, and it's going to show $50 was put down on your credit card as an income. So it's going to counterbalance themselves. I delete the plus on that one, and I leave the negative in there because I'm just running what's coming out of my bank account. And so, again, all up to you how you want to manage it, but that could be why it's not lining up. So really what's happening, if you use both the plus and minus, so you're dragging them both in there, I took that 50 that came out and that 50 that went on the credit card and I put them down there, they're going to cancel each other out. And so my budget is going to say that 50 was never spent. It's still there, when in truth, I really used it to pay down the credit card. And so keep that in mind, the plus-minus dilemma. That one's a little bit more complicated, so if what I just said went right over your head, feel free to drop a comment or reach out to me to schedule some time, and maybe we can clear that up for you. Finally, number 4, reason why budgets don't match their bank accounts, a previous month hangover. Okay, so maybe you're new to budgeting, maybe you've been doing it for a while, but usually this happens in the early months. It's residual of the previous month. And so maybe the previous month something got forgotten, or maybe you weren't on top of your tracking as well as you should have been. So when we're looking at our budget is going to assume we're starting on the first of the month at $0, right? Or whatever that paycheck one is. Well, if you had $200 left over from the previous month, then your bank account's going to already be off by $200. If we didn't fix that difference, then the bank account's going to already be $200 higher than what our budget is. And no matter how many times you go through this current month and try and figure out why your expenses are not lining up, you're going to say, I've logged everything, why doesn't it match? It's because a previous month, it could be 3 months in the past, it could be just a little bit of money each month, or it could have been overspending the previous month. It could be that I got a lot of it could be's, right? It could be that you got paid on the 25th of the previous month, but it was for this month. And so maybe you spent some of that money before the month was over. Lots of situations with that. So just be cautious of that. That could be why your bank account doesn't line up. Ultimately, no matter what reason, and there's tons of others, these are the 4 most common. Ultimately, if it's off by just a little bit, don't stress about it. Again, there's nothing wrong with digging into your bank account and trying to do a side-by-side balance. But guys, those of you who are not numbers people, and those of you who are not wired that way, you're going to drive yourself so crazy that you quit budgeting. So don't worry about it. If it drives you crazy that they don't line up, then of course dig into the numbers, have at it. There's nothing wrong with being incredibly precise. But I'm giving a lot of you my blessing to say, you know what? Let it go. It's okay. We'll start the next month fresh. The only stipulation that is if it's $100 or more, then I'd probably dig around and figure out what's going on and why it's not lining up. All right. Let me know your thoughts. Are there any other things you could think of that could be why your bank account's not matching your budget? Drop them in the comments box below. Otherwise, guys, subscribe so that we can hang out again. I post videos like this all the time, so I'd love to see you again. And take care, happy budgeting, and good luck lining up that bank account to your budget.